I was never one for urban legends. Those ridiculous stories you hear late at night, whispered by people who are bored or scared. But what if I told you that some of them are more than just stories? What if I told you they're warnings? You've heard the one about the Hookman, right? A young couple parks on a quiet, isolated road. They hear a scratching on the roof of their car, then the radio crackles to life, warning about an escaped killer with a hook for a hand. Terrified, they drive away, only to find a hook hanging from the door handle later, bloodied and stained. You think it's just a story, until one night, it happens to you. The warning isn't a joke. It's a reality. The thing with the hook isn't just a myth. It's real. And it's waiting for you too. I thought I was safe. I thought it was just something to scare kids. But then, I heard it. That scraping sound. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't the trees. It was something real. And when I checked, when I opened that door, I saw it. The hook. Blood-soaked. Staring at me, as if it had been waiting for me all along. The thing is, I didn't drive off. I froze. I just stood there, staring at that hook, trying to make sense of what was happening. And that's when I felt it. A presence behind me. A cold breath against my neck, sharp like ice. It wasn't just the hook. The thing was still out there, watching, listening. The stories, the warnings, they're not just tales. They're warnings from people who didn't make it. But the Hookman isn't the worst of them. Oh no, there's something worse. Something that haunts me every time I look into a mirror. You've probably heard the one about Bloody Mary. Stand in front of a mirror, say her name 3 times, and she'll come for you. She'll drag you into the dark, into the place where shadows feast on your soul. It's a harmless game, right? A dare. You laugh it off, tell yourself it's all made up. I thought the same thing, until I tested it. I was in my bathroom, lights off, standing in front of the mirror. I didn't expect anything to happen. I wasn't scared. I didn't believe. I said her name once. Nothing. I said it again. Still nothing. I laughed at myself for being so stupid. But the third time, something shifted. My reflection didn't match mine anymore. It wasn't me looking back. Her eyes were hollow, black, endless voids, like someone had ripped out all the life inside her. And she didn't smile. She didn't scream. She whispered my name. My heart stopped. I tried to run, but I couldn't move. My legs were frozen, stuck to the floor, my body powerless against the weight of the horror I had just unleashed. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. It was then I realized something terrifying. When she whispers your name, it's not just a threat. It's an invitation. She's already there, watching you. And no matter how fast you run, how far you go, she'll always be one step behind you. Her breath on the back of your neck. Her voice growing louder, until you can't tell if it's in your head or real. And here's the thing. You don't even have to call her. If you even think about her, if you even mention her name in your thoughts, she hears you. And soon, you'll hear her too. But those are just the beginning of the stories that crawl under your skin. There's one that's older than the rest, one that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand on end even now, even after all this time. It's the one about the Whistler. No one knows where it came from, but that's the thing about legends. They evolve, and they feed on fear. The Whistler is what happens when you do something you shouldn't, like picking up a hitchhiker in the dead of night, or walking through a cemetery when you know you should have turned back. It's never just a warning. No, the Whistler is a curse. The story goes that someone, usually a good Samaritan, someone who thinks they're helping, will stop to offer a ride or walk down a dark road at night. They'll hear it first, a soft whistling, like someone trying to get their attention. It's so faint at first, it could be anything. But as they get closer, they realize it's not coming from a person. It's coming from something that isn't quite human. The whistling becomes louder, more frantic. And then, when you stop, when you turn around to ask who's there, you see it. Or you don't. That's the worst part. Because the Whistler never fully shows itself. All you'll see are the eyes. Deep, burning eyes, staring from the dark corners, surrounded by a twisted, mangled figure. It doesn't speak. It doesn't need to. The whistling will fill your ears, your mind, until you can't think, until you feel your sanity begin to crack. And that's when it takes you. You'll wake up in a place you don't recognize, your skin cold, your heart racing, and you'll hear it. The whistle. It's following you now, always just behind you, until you can't sleep, until you can't breathe, until it finally catches you. I didn't believe in any of these legends until it was too late. The stories aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to keep you awake, to make you question every corner, every shadow, every noise. They're warnings. They're real. So remember this the next time you hear a scratching at your door. The next time you look in the mirror and feel something's wrong. The next time you hear whistling in the dark. Because by then it's already too late.